everybody, welcome to the Dex where we cover trivia and strategy for a different Pokemon each week. I'm PokeKels.
And I'm Aroma Lady Alex, but really, Kels, this guy again? Didn't we already do his pre-evolution? What more is there to say?
Didn't we already do his pre-evolution? What more is there to say?
Damn, dude.
What?
You never just straight up roast me like that.
Yes, I do all the time.
Yes, I do all the time.
Okay, wow, damn, that does suck. We are friends again. It's Venusaur. Venusaur is the seed Pokemon, and you probably know him super well since he's the original green version box mascot from Gen 1 in Japan. OG status.
The word Venusaur seems to be a mix of the word venom and saurus, a Latin suffix meaning lizard. Of course, most people probably think the name is more of a reference to the Roman goddess Venus, but that name comes from the Latin Venus, which still means poison, so trust us on this one.
However, in Japanese this name is Fushigibana, which is a corruption of the phrase Fushigi na hana, which means strange flower. Same goes for the French Florizarre, which combines flower and bizarre.
So a poison lizard with a pretty flower, huh? Pretty clean, but Mandarin Chinese makes a difference since its name Miaohua actually translates to wonderful frog flower. So which is it, frog or lizard?
Well, let's see. Its German name, Bisaflor, seems to come from Bisam and Flor, but Bisam refers to the fur of a muskrat, which probably isn't it. So you break it down a little bit further into Beast, Saurier, and Flor, it could loosely mean dinosaur of the flowers, so majority rules, I guess.
Dinosaur of the flowers, huh? That's the coolest thing I've heard today.
Yeah, it sounds like a postmodern novel.
Totally.
Anyway, speaking of flowers, it's time for this week's ridiculous segment, and that's right, it means it's plantimal influences.
Totally. Whether it's a lizard or a frog or a muskrat, one thing's for sure. The flower on Venusaur's back is super weird, but what the heck is it? The first clue is that it's said to produce an alluring aroma.
At first glance, that immediately makes me think of Vileplume's stinky inspiration, the Rafflesia. It's the biggest flower in the world and it smells like rotting corpses. But Rafflesia don't have any leaves or stems, and I certainly wouldn't describe their aroma as alluring.
What's more likely is that it's a purposefully whimsical looking made up flower, because just like we said in the Bulbasaur episode, these plants are meant to be exclusive to the species and are planted at birth.
So yeah, okay, so also the scent of this flower is said to calm the emotions of people. Scent is kind of weird like that. Since we don't really rely on it that much to get through our lives, we often don't realize how extremely it can influence our mood and our stress levels. But actually, the olfactory response is directly linked to the emotional center of the brain.
So what does Venusaur actually smell like? Well, if we're going with calming scents, it's probably some combo of something like lavender, chamomile, bergamot, sandalwood, jasmine, mandarin, vanilla, rose, lilac, or ylang ylang. That one's the best. Ylang ylang.
I'd prefer bergamot. But hey, when you listed those smells just now, could you picture any of the ones that you were familiar with in your head? That's because scent is also strongly tied to memory, and even us humans with our crappy noses can differentiate 1 trillion different fragrances. Just don't ask me how they tested that, because I literally have no clue. So wait, Venusaur is some crazy magic tea-scented dino frog with an imaginary flower backpack?
Yeah, but I'll be darned if it isn't a fearsome crazy magic tea-scented dino frog with an imaginary flower backpack, especially when it mega evolves. Gen 6 battle strats start right the F now!
Oh yeah, heck yeah, Pokemon!
The name of the game with Venusaur is to get that mega evolution going as soon as possible, because with its ability Thick Fat, which resists fire and ice damage, and a bunch of extra bulk that it gets from mega evolving, it gets pretty hard to shut Venusaur down. Start with a bold one and super train it, emphasizing its HP and both defense stats.
All the extra resistances give Venusaur a laundry list of safe switch-ins, so get out there to shoot your sleep powder and get that momentum going in your favor.
That Mega Stone means no item slot, but good recovery can keep Venusaur going for a surprisingly long time. So spam Giga Drain whenever it makes sense, and when you take a big hit, use Synthesis. Maybe even luck out and find a Mega Charizard Y, get that sun going.
For fairy types and stuff that resist Giga Drain, you should also probably carry Sludge Bomb on this set, and then just swap back and forth between putting Pokemon to sleep, healing, and getting KOs.
And that's Venusaur, but of course, Mega Venusaur has plenty of different options, so as always, here are a few random thoughts.
This moveset here works equally well with an offensive build, though it's a little more high risk, but if you love living dangerously, swap Bold for a Modest Nature and Super Train HP and Special Attack.
This version of the set makes Synthesis a little bit more redundant, so especially if you're playing online, I'd try Hidden Power Fire instead to give you another attack option, or Leech Seed to put a little extra pressure on while you heal.
Or, last but not least, how about an adamant set with EVs and attack with sleep powder, swords dance, and earthquake? That's a pretty viable little trap there, huh? You're right. Heck yes it is. Good job, everybody. We did it. We did it.
And that's Venusaur! I hate to sound like a broken record, but that sure is one crazy magic tea-scented dino frog with an imaginary flower backpack.
How did you remember that?
I used a teleprompter.
Anyway, if you want to subscribe to our channel, go ahead and do it. If you want to see the Bulbasaur episode we did with Gerard, the completionist Khalil, give a little clicky ride over here, or for the Vileplume episode with Pro Jared, click over here.
And while you're at it, why don't you go buy one of our awesome Pokemon trivia-based shirts over at theyeti.com/thedex. Link is in the description. They're literally some of the coolest Pokemon shirts I have ever seen. I'm Aroma Lady Alex.
And I'm Pokegels. Tune in next week for another rainy day episode of
The Dex.